I'm Katherine Finnegan from Broadcast Journalism. This question is for the group. Given the size of your team, how do you ensure each person is improving individually, and does the size affect the quality of your practices?
I don't think the size affects the quality of our practices because we kind of hold each other accountable. Um, it's a lot easier because we split up into event groups every day. So the hurdlers are with the hurdlers, the throwers are with the throwers. And so because we're split up into smaller groups, you kind of have the upperclassmen in those groups and obviously the coaches holding everyone accountable so that we can all practice together but divided into these groups.
Yeah, in addition to accountability, helping everybody to understand the purpose of each workout also helps them get more out of it. The role I often take in these practices is explaining the purpose of the workout and what everybody can get out of it, specifically what benefits they derive from the work that they do. It helps people, in addition, by helping people better understand what they're doing, it helps them more effectively tailor it for their purposes and get as much as possible out of the workout.
I'm Riley Baggett from Broadcast Journalism, and this is for all of you again. So how do you personally plan on capitalizing on your success from last season?
Well, I was injured for almost all of last season, so capitalizing on my health, I think, is my primary focus. Staying healthy and just working hard to get stronger so that I can get faster. Not taking any injury-free day for granted is how I'm capitalizing.
I was also on the injury list last year. I think that just like the time spent at practice and like putting in work during the workouts, that'll just help us sort of bounce back from those injuries and those setbacks, and we'll just end up having a better championship altogether.
In the off season, I've been spending a lot of time with the guidance of my coach, working on improving my high end endurance through specific threshold work, just doing a high volume of work at a relatively lower intensity, but still deriving more benefit than you would get from like a more intense session. So with this requisite strength, and that I've also been trying to help other people understand the purpose of. I think I should be able to be a bit stronger in the longer distances in addition to my primary event, which is the 800 meters.
I'm Jenna Powers, also from Broadcast Journalism. Henrik and Morgan, you both run and compete in multiple events. Is it hard training for each one differently, or do they tend to correlate with each other?
Well, with regards to the running events, given that the primary limitation of athletes at our age is a lack of aerobic capability, aerobic capacity, the kind of work that we do day to day, just building mileage, building volume at a relatively easy pace to help our body transport oxygen more effectively. That serves as training for anything from the 800 meters up, really, which all have significant aerobic components. My other event, which is the javelin, obviously running distance isn't going to help at all with javelin, so I just have to dedicate more time on my own to that. But yeah, the general distance training that I do, just simply improving my aerobic capacity, will help me in anything from 800 meters up. So it all serves the same purpose, essentially.
Both my events are actually like the same distance. So like I train for 400 and then I train for 400 hurdles as well. So it's not really cross training. It's sort of just like running the same stuff, and then one of it's just over hurdles.
With opening day just passing, how did you feel your first meet went? And is there anything you hope to improve on?
Our first meet was really successful. I mean, on the boys' side, we won by a lot. On the girls' side, we won by a lot too. So I think that part of that is just because we have a larger team, so we had a lot more opportunities. I think that if we were to improve in one part, it would be, just organization. I feel like everyone went out there and did their best. There was no one that really didn't try. I'm really proud of our team. We really worked hard yesterday. And so now it's just, getting like the little stuff out of the way, practicing the niche parts of all of our runs and everything.
So who or what school is the biggest competition you think you will face this year?
It's definitely Parsippany. Years past, they've been our stiffest competition. It's tough going up against them every year. They got a lot of depth. They got a lot of talent. So, they kind of match our best performers at every level in every event. And it looks like this year they're going to follow up, and they're going to be really tough for us.
Yeah, and that's in reference to the dual meets specifically, the small schools that we compete against directly in our dual meets. Of course, at our conference championships in counties, we face all the best schools in the conference, and obviously the county. And then at sectionals, we face all the best small schools, not just within the county. So it varies, but yeah, definitely Parsippany. Like Michael said, they have some real talent up front, Josiah Johnson, namely.
And what drills in practice make you most successful when it comes time for your race?
It's very individual for the event. So for me as like a 200, 400 guy, it's just running, those long sprint workouts like 300 repeats or split 400s where you finish the workout and you just you can't stand up. And so that kind of lactic workout where you're really pushing that lactic threshold back further and further. Those are the worst workouts to run because they hurt the most, but they're the ones that help the most.
All right, that's all we have. Thank you, guys.
Powers from Broadcast Journalism. This question is for the seniors. Given the size of your team, how do you ensure each person is improving individually, and does the size affect the quality of your practices?
Yeah, I would say, well, our team is normally quite large in the beginning, so when it's like that, we split into small groups with the coaches, and we'll work individually on specific skills and things you need for the essentials in sprinting.
Yeah, so we split into smaller groups, and then we focus on our specific goals, such as distance, sprinting, throwing, etc.
Riley Baggett with Broadcast Journalism. So this question's for Nina. So you run and compete in multiple events. Is it hard training for each one differently, or do they tend to correlate with each other?
I think there are definitely some skills that cross over between sprinting and jumping, definitely your run up, but there are also specific skills that you need to work on for each event, and so that kind of comes after your main events, and so sometimes it's difficult to balance, but most of the time there are skills that can be applied to both.
I'm Catherine Finnegan with Broadcast Journalism, and this question is for Ella. Ella, you hold school records in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 400-meter events, and as a junior, you have 2 more seasons to capitalize on those records. What kind of pressure does holding 3 records put on you as a student athlete, and do you see yourself topping those records during your junior or senior seasons?
I feel like the pressure for the school records isn't as bad as the state meets and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that I can break those times so I can get farther in Morris County and maybe get into bigger meets.
This question is for all of you. What drills in practice make you the most successful when it comes time for your race?
I think the practices where we're doing harder workouts, maybe repeat 200s or split 4s, are the practices that help capitalize on the things that we already know and improve the stamina that we already have. So I feel like those are the most helpful.
Yeah, I agree with Ella. I think it's definitely the hardest workouts that it's you don't want to keep going and everything just hurts. That's definitely what helps the most, even though it is awful in the moment.
With opening day just passing, how did you feel your first meet went, and is there anything you hope to improve on?
Personally, I hit all my marks that I wanted to hit for the events that I did, and then for next meets, I hope to obviously be faster and work on more specifics of my running.
At the last meet, I felt like I could have done a little better, so I'm hoping that I can get my 200, 104 a bit faster, and then also hopefully get a good 4x4 time at the next meet.
I think the biggest thing is just being consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's important to be consistent and just keep going. And I think that's what helps the most, even though it is awful in the moment.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I was really happy with my opener, but I definitely think that I can improve on like specific skills, like more focus on jumping now that like I have a little bit of the running down, and then also yeah, definitely I think we're working on our 4x4 and just like even after running other events, like really having the energy to like come through for our teammates.
So I personally didn't run, but the whole team did extremely well, and they're just going to improve over the season.
Group, what is the biggest competition you think you will face this year?
I think similar to the boys would be Par Hills, because Par Hills, their team has a lot of depth, and especially in the girls' side. They usually got someone fast in each of the events, so we just need to make sure we're staying ahead of them in the different times and marks.
Yeah, I would agree. Parsippany Hills is definitely one of our biggest competition just because I think their athletes are very like versatile and they're able to run multiple events very well in one meet. And so I think that's an area where we can work to improve so that we're more competitive.
And then, how do you personally plan on capitalizing your success from last season?
Last season, I worked on running the 400 hurdles more, and I figured out how to run the race faster. So I'm going to use the skills I learned then and apply it to the race now, and hopefully I'll become faster.
Last year, my 200 I improved a lot on, and that brought me to MLCs. So I'm hoping to continue improving on the 2 and also get my 400 down by a few seconds.
So I started last season injured, so I kind of got like my season cut short a little bit, and so I like wasn't able to progress as much as I would have liked. So I think this season having like a full season and also coming off a very strong like winter season, I think that just like that base endurance and stamina will help.
So coming off of winter track season, just keep on like improving anaerobic capacity and working on long runs, etc., strength work, stuff like that.